my channel. This is Gamer Dom, and this is the Caernarvon, the Tier 8 British heavy tank. Now, I'm still not entirely sure I like this tank. In fact, probably on balance of probability, I don't like this tank. It's got some great things about it. However, to me it's just a bit too bland. Now I know Caernarvon drivers were jumping up and down, and metaphorically anyway, maybe physically, I don't know, but generally war gamers are not that energetic, so probably just metaphorically about, oh no, this is a great tank, it's a great tank, and probably for some people it is. I didn't like the black print either. I've just found this thing a really tough grind. So anyway, we're on Sand River. It's a tier 8 game, so we're top tier. I've been playing a lot of the British tanks recently because I'm trying to get the British token done for the T44-100 mission. I've done all the damage, I just need the kills. I think these games in the Caernarvon got me the damage I needed. So I played about 8 games in the Caernarvon the other morning, and actually had some really good games, and so I thought I'd do a video on it because it's one of those tanks that people kind of want to grind through because they want to get on to the next tanks in the British line, and British tanks are fairly popular. So first up, a little bit of, I've been spotted. First up, a little bit of history lesson on this thing. So this was developed from the sort of British ethos of support tank, infantry support tank in 1944. Prototypes were built, and I think around about 20 were actually manufactured, but it never actually saw service. But it was a real sea change for the British Army. Up to then they'd had sort of two ethoses of tank design. They'd had the, oh, can we get a shot on that Centurion? No, he pulled back down. And I've been spotted again. So yeah, they had two ethos. One was sort of the infantry support tank, so that tended to be very slow moving, heavily armoured, and then they had the sort of cavalry tank. Hello Jackson. Hi bye Jackson. Oh, left him on 12 health. At the time of this Caernarvon being developed, they changed it and they went for more, oh, bounce that shot from the SU-100. They went for a more sort of universal type vehicle. So the Caernarvon and subsequent tanks were designed to be sort of all-round vehicles that could do both functions. They could be that infantry support vehicle, and they could also be the sort of cavalry. So suddenly they became a lot quicker. There's Sue. Hello Sue. I missed it. Damn. They came much quicker. The armour was dropped down compared to the infantry tanks, but you know, they were still pretty good, and in theory these tanks are good all-round vehicles. Don't know why I shot a dead tank there, Dom, but never mind, we did get assist damage. And there's a Scorpion. Hello Scorpion, can we get a shot on him? Bear in mind, this game I'm primarily trying to get kills. I'm not doing a very good job of it. Every time I shoot that somebody dies. I should hold the shot. No way I'm going to hit a prototype or penetrate a prototype from this range. So anyway, in this game you can see we've pushed the right flank. It's 4-all. There's a lot of heavies down in the gully, or the riverbed, the waddy I think it's called. So I decided that I'm not really going to get anywhere pushing against a T28 prototype. So instead I'm going to drop down behind these heavies here. There's an AMX M445 up there. Got to keep an eye on him. Also got to watch out for that prototype. Well, I don't anymore because the prototype is down. And here we go. Their heavies are going to be busy. So, not an auspicious start. Put a shot into the KV5 and do no damage. But that French heavy tank up there is sitting there, and we can put a shot through. See, I'm aiming for that sort of front drive wheel kind of area, and we take him down. Trying to track him in place. He was tracked. Right. Hello, Mr. KV. This time I didn't miss, but I have changed to premium because I needed the extra pen. 110. Nice shot into him, and you can see this. Oh, and I put him on fire. Oh, nice. And he's gone. Can we finish off the IS-3? There we go. 3 tanks in quick succession taken down. Very nice. And suddenly the game has gone from being a draw, or very tight, to we're winning this one easily. 11-6. We're in their cap. They've got some mediums and lights in, or they've got an IS-3 and light tanks in our cap, but it's not going to do them a whole lot of good because us heavies are coming back. And you saw in that exchange there with those heavies is that the alpha on this gun is rather disappointing. The top gun on the Caernarvon is a 20-pounder Type 4 barrel gun. Oh, nice snapshot. That is what it's really, really good at. It has a pretty good aim time, and it's extremely good at firing on the move and just sort of snapping a shot away. However, the alpha damage is not great. Well, the enemy have got 2 tanks in our base. We have got to reset quickly because otherwise they're going to win by capping. So you can see already the mobility of this thing. I'm moving up the slight slope here as we come into the cap, doing best part of 30. First tanks, it's obviously the IS-3's got most of the cap points, so we're just going to go balls deep straight into him, take a lock on here, put a shot into him. He doesn't know where to go. He does not know where to go. Get round behind him. One of those classic things when you're being rushed by a tank, you don't know whether to turn and fire at them or fire at the other ones that are facing you, and end up doing nothing. So anyway, we're going to chase him, put him down, put him out of his misery. Somebody else it is. Okay, so there we go, pretty much game over. 2,792 damage, 4 kills. Don't think I'll get to the remaining enemy tanks before the cap is dropped out, but no, it hasn't. Never mind. So there we go, it's a second class mastery. We got Arsonist, we got Fighter, we got Fire for Effect. Finished up second on the team with 2,792 damage, 4 kills, 1,039 base XP, 16 shots fired, 13 hits, 11 penetrations for that 2,700 damage. We took 1 hit which bounced. That was that SU-100 round that bounced off our turret on the sand dunes, and that's what the Caernarvon is extremely good at. It has a pretty good gun depression. I think it is, just let me double check, it's -8, which isn't fantastic, but it's enough. And its turret armor is surprisingly good. It's a bit like a cheap version of the T29 or the T32. Turret armor is 150 something millimeters frontal armor, but it's quite well angled, and the gun mantle's pretty good, and you will bounce shots off its turret. Hull armor is pretty horrible though. On paper it's okay, 130, but you will be penned, and 130 is nothing at this tier. So you know, the best place for this tank is using its gun depression to fire over a hill like I did there on the sand dunes, or getting behind a dead tank and just so the enemy can only see your turret. You will be penned from time to time, but you will also bounce shots, and that's what happened in this game. We did 780 assistance damage, which is nice. 50,000 credits. We did fire some premium. Ended up as 27,857 credits. Would have been 11,200 if we hadn't been running a premium account. Experience wise, well, it was a ×3 when I played this game, so we ended up with 4,600 experience, which is a pretty nice return. Still would have been 3,000 with a non-premium account. So I thought, I'm on a roll, let's try again. We got some good kills for the British token to get that one sorted, so we took him out again, and actually had another pretty good game. So I'll show that to you now, he said, trying to talk. So here we are again in the Caernarvon. We're on the cliffs. It's a tier 9 game this time, but there's only 3 tier 9s on each side, so a pretty good matchup again. I am going to try and use the speed of this thing, because it's for heavy, it's got pretty good mobility, and that's one of the strengths of this tank. It's good at moving forward. It's a tank that you should try and be aggressive in, I think, although it doesn't have the hull armor. The turret armor is good, and that 20 pounder gun is very good at firing on the move. It's very accurate, doesn't have much alpha, but that does mean that you, oh, don't stop in front of me, does mean that you can use the rate of fire, which is very, very good to keep peppering the target, and you've got to keep the gun singing. And you can see here we're whisking up the hill, we're doing, well, 12 kph. We're going to see whether we got shot on that Type 64 on the hill. And I was debating what to do. I was thinking about going around the traditional sort of area, and then I saw that there's an awful lot of enemy tanks, including the ST1 and the T10, who are probably going to go around there. So I'd rather not face them frontally. This is more of a light heavy tank, if that makes sense, than a proper heavy tank. The hull armor, as I said before, is not good enough. 130 millimeters of frontal hull armor, and you know, you can see it's quite well sloped, but in practice 130 even well sloped on this sort of tier, you're rarely going to get any kind of bounces, and particularly against something like an ST1 or a T10 with its massive gun. Now, I think I mentioned earlier, the turret on this is extremely strong. You're going to, oh, and here we go, and there we are. I got hit by a Korea. The tracks at it, and again, one of the nice things about this, it's got quite big tracks. You can see the shot would have come in and just been eaten by the tracks. We're waiting for that Korea to pop back out, because inevitably he will. There we go. Put a nice shot into him. 231, which is almost bang on average. And I'm keeping this IS-3 spotted, because I want my team, who are all sitting there on the slope behind me, to pepper him. And this is what I thought I'd do here. It's quite a good tactic if you've got a tank with good hull armor, pretty good tracks, and reasonable gun depression, is to come to this spot as long as the enemy arty doesn't focus fire, because they can hit you here depending on where they're located. I got lucky, they didn't fire at me, and I'm able to sit here and keep that IS-3 under observation within his and my automatic view range. And you can see pretty much the entire health of that IS-3 was taken down by me doing that, which is great. So that's one of their main battle tanks out of the game. I'm going to be a little bit cheeky here, see whether we can poke over the top. Still wondering where that Korea's got to, but I can see he's over the other side now, so that's fine. Trying to get a shot around the corner, but there's a T29 down there, don't want to risk it for a biscuit. So, you may have noticed in the chat, our AMX 5100 is a really good job of motivational talking. He's virtually from the beginning of the game, as is the WOT in these sort of games. He's just bad-mouthed everybody, how crap they are, and blah blah blah. But it'll be interesting to see the end result, won't it? Anyway, so here we go. Oh, there's a WZ111, very nice. He showed enough of his track, and that was another thing I think I talked about in the last video. Is that the lower plate of the ST1, the gun handling of this tank is extremely good. It fires very, very rapidly. It doesn't have great alpha, but it has a good rate of fire, which makes up for it to some degree. And you can see we're tracking that Super Pershing. You can't do much about it. We couldn't quite take him down, which is a shame. Hitting the ST1 from here is going to be a challenge, so we won't. The shell velocity on the tank, on the gun, is extremely good as well. You can see that snapshot there. I was able to, on the WZ, I was able to swing the gun round, aim only briefly, fire at a very small target, the only place I was likely to pen him, and take him down. So I'm talking to the AMX in the chat saying, ever thought of a career in motivational speaking? So can we hit their commander's hatch? We did, but didn't pen him. I'm not entirely sure you can pen the ST1's commander's hatch, but whatever. So we've done a good job here. We've stopped the enemy push around the flank. Lots of our friends are there, so I'm not going to bother anymore. I'm going to go and support that Jag Tiger 88 who's pushing over the middle. We know there's a T29 there, and if we can drop down behind, chances are we can then come up behind the T10 or push around the other side and take out the guys down in the valley. And again, you're seeing the the engine power of this thing. It uses a Rolls-Royce Meteor engine, 750 engine horsepower, and which gives it a pretty good speed. That's the word. So I'm whizzing along again. You can see the mobility of this tank. It's very much in the sort of light medium category. It means you can get around things. Can we get around the back of this T29? There we go. Took him down to 10 health, which is annoying because I need the kills. There's a T28, a T25-2, and his first shot damages my oh, and I bounced an SU-152. And I didn't do this very well. I sat here in the open firing at 2 TDs, or 1 TD, trying to kill him, and allowed his buddy at the back there to also get shots at me. Not great play. Wouldn't suggest you do the same. Did get the piggy, which is good. Been spotted again, so I'm going to get killed any minute. Can we get behind the IS? Nice shot into his rear. He's busy with the oh, bounce. Didn't manage to, and I bounced the 25 again. He's a real pain, that 25. We take down the IS. Trying to angle, trying to keep the tank moving. Finally decided I need to keep moving, which was not sensible. The ST1 has taken down our remaining tanks at the top there, so we need to clear this cap pretty quick. I got hit again, and you can see a T25-2 can pen me with ease because he's firing from below. He's going to be hitting my hull and my lower arm, how does it do this on the replay? Anyway, he's going to be hitting my lower plate quite easily, and the lower plate of Caernarvon is pretty weak. So anyway, so I died. What can you do? So our team's done pretty well up till now. It's 12 plays 12, so it's still very much in the balance. However, this guy is pretty good player, the Jag Tiger, and I'm fairly comfortable that he'll help us out. He takes down the remaining arty. The VK's moving in on the 25-2, but doesn't need to worry because the Jag Tiger takes him down, and he's on 5 kills, done a really good job. So we've got the just the ST1, and I bet he's coming back. So I was saying to VK go and cap, and Jag Tiger go and hold him up, basically was the plan. Yeah, all plans fall apart in the front of the enemy. Let's see what happens. I know what happens, but then I was there. The Jag Tiger's slowly moving up into position. So while we're waiting for the finale of this game, let's talk a bit more about the Caernarvon. So it's a terrible grind. Oh, there we go, ST1. VK and him are about to exchange fire. That's not going to go well. And there we go, VK's down. Jag Tiger was going to push around, but realised that probably it wasn't the best idea in the world. The Crusader SP is coming down, but can he do anything to a tier 9 heavy? Jag Tiger's pulling back. He now sort of realises that the Crusader's in position and he needs to light him up. Otherwise the Crusader's not going to have any kind of shots. And to give him his dues, he may, you know, he's on 492 health, which is probably okay to take one hit. He needs to. He realises he's a good player, and he realises he's got to get help, and he needs to spot this ST1 so that the RT has some chance of hitting him. If he can't see him, the RT can't hit him. That was a really nice shot, but he took a big hit in return. Didn't need to follow up because the RT got him. Good game, really good game. So that was another second class. Got a 5 for effect as well. Finished second on the team again. 2,278 damage, 3 kills, 1,009 base XP. Good game from that Jag Tiger 88. Finished firing 19 shots, hit with 14 of them, penned with 11, 2,278 damage. We took 9 hits this time, 5 of which penned, 4 of which didn't. It was a combination of a couple bounced off the turret and a couple were eaten by the tracks. We blocked over 1,000 damage, which is not bad. We did 1,000 assistance damage, which is also pretty good. 44,000 credits, didn't fire any premium I don't think, so made profit of just over 18,000. Would have been only about 3,700 if I hadn't been running a premium account. And 1,514 experience with no bonuses, would have been just 1,000 on a non-premium account. So I was starting to say in that battle, but you get to see the good thing about this tank. Really good rate of fire, particularly on the top guns. Pretty okay penetration, fantastic accuracy on the move, firing on the move, and also when you relocate and keep the tank moving, you reacquire targets very quickly. The dispersion's not bad at all. Accuracy is very, very good. Has a really good gun depression and well, pretty good gun depression, and on the top turret, a great gun mantle. Particularly that's the second turret. The second turret is the one that you want on this. The Action X turret gives you something like 190 millimeters of armor as opposed to 150, and the gun mantle and the armor and the shaping of it mean that you will bounce shells, as you saw in that last one. Has a really good shell velocity, which means that you can hit targets that are moving much easier, because you don't need to put too much lead. The slower the shell, the more lead you need to put in, and the more likelihood you're going to miss. The faster the shell moves through the air, or through the game, through the virtual air, the less lead you need to put, because you fire and it hits almost simultaneously, and that's the case with the Caernarvon's gun, which is great. The speed of it is great. It's got actually pretty good view range as well, and the upper frontal plate is fairly well angled, so against the lower tier tanks you will bounce shells off the frontal armor if they can't hit your lower plate, but against same tier or higher, yeah, it's not going to really help. So let's have another look at another quick game that I had that morning. This one's much quicker in contest, but it shows again some of the strengths and also some of the weakness. So this time we're on Sacred Valley. It's another tier 8 game, so we got pretty lucky with the matchmaking. This tank, when you get into tier 10, and you will get into tier 10s because it's tier 8, yeah, when you're in tier 10s you have to try and use it like a medium. It's got just about enough mobility to allow you to do that, and the view range isn't too bad either. You need to use it as a medium and try and use what mobility you have to scout around the enemies and fire into sides and what have you. So anyway, this game we're top tier. We're heading to the top tier, or to the heavy alley, traditional heavy alley around the north. And you're going to see here that the beauty of this tank is its very high rate of fire. However, the weakness is it doesn't have much stopping power. So you win on one way, you fire quickly, but your actual DPM is pretty low. I was debating going left, then I saw that CDC and I think, right, I'm going to go and get me some French booty. Nice shot there, one shot, tracked him. He didn't repair. Don't know why, bounced that shot in return. Probably hit, I don't know why that, he must have hit my gun mantle, because if he'd fired down on my top plate, he would have penned me easy. Bounced another shot from him, and he's finally repaired, but it's not going to help him, because there goes the shot. And there you saw the rate of fire of this 20-pounder gun, really pokey. However, if I'd been firing another gun, I probably would have taken that, it took 4 shots to take that CDC down, and probably would have taken a lot less in something else. So there's an IS-2 there, tried to fire at me, but his shot went straight into the dirt. So I'm going to push up. This is not a bad place for me, because the gun depression and the turret armor really helps. So yeah, bounced the shot beautifully. Oh, there's a Panther. Bounced his shot too. Rate of fire, trying to track him. Did so, and you can see there's a T-34-100 coming around behind me. I've seen him, put a shot into him, but I am I set him on fire. Now you can see I've got a better rate of fire than he does. I took a shot from the IS-2. I am reversing to him, and I managed to bounce a shot. That's because I'd angled side on. You can see the traverse on this is not fantastic, but it's good enough, and I'm holding my own against this medium tank who thought he could get around and give me a bit of booty. I've got to kill him quick, try and get a ram before this fella comes around, and he did come around. So I've taken him down. Now I'm going to work on the, and that wasn't a great move there. You can see the Spic's coming around behind me, and he gets me. The problem was I pushed that IS-2 up into the bank, and as a result his gun was pointing straight down onto my upper plate, which completely negated all the plating, not the plating, but it completely negated the angling of the hull. Which was pretty stupid in hindsight, but it's one of those things you do when you're being bum rushed by a whole load of tanks. And this IS-3 is also getting the same treatment. He's being chased by that same IS-2 that was having a go at me, but he's getting away as quickly as he can. He's going to he's going to angle his tank and sort of reverse side scrape there, and the IS-2 again, a bit like he did for me. He tried to fire into the tracks, and that's not a good thing to do on an IS-3 at all. And as you can see, an IS-2 against an IS-3 is not a fair fight. And again, he's doing the same as me. He's trying to focus down one at a time. All you can do when you're being surrounded is take down one target and then move for the next. So he's taking down that IS-2. Now he can turn and face the Spic. Don't know why the Spic didn't fire there. Clearly was hoping to get around the back, and he's on fire, and that's it. The IS-3 took him down. And you can see there the difference between the Caernarvon being surrounded was that when and the IS-3 is when the IS-3 got surrounded, the alpha of his gun took down enemy tanks in a couple of shots. When I got surrounded, my rate of fire was extremely good, but I wasn't doing the damage that the IS-3 was doing, and consequently, A, they're more nervous of the IS-3 than they are of the Caernarvon, and therefore they're less likely to push the point. And B, the IS-3 takes them down quicker, much quicker. That was a nice bit of driving. Just sort of eased the Skoda out the way. Oh, now I was going to ease the Leopard. He's trying to get a bit of kill, but he gets taken down for his choice. I hadn't noticed that at the time. Oh well, Caernarvon takes down IS-3 at the end, so that's kind of moral justice, and we're going to win the game. And it was fast and furious, and it lasted only a couple of minutes, but never mind. It's one of those games. But I thought it was interesting. You can see, oops, what's happened there? You could see the effect of the being surrounded. My Caernarvon was surrounded, and because of that low alpha, it couldn't really take down the enemies that were going for me. So overall, Caernarvon. Well, let's go and have a look at the post-game stats first. So yet another second-class mastery. People must play it pretty well if they're second classes, but I'm only doing 2,000 damage a game to get second class, so I suppose maybe not. We got Bruiser, we got Fire for Effect. Finished up 4th on the team this time. 2,225 damage, 2 kills, 948 base XP. 12 shots fired, all 12 hit, and 10 of them penned. We took 14 hits in return, 5 of which penned, 9 didn't. So we bounced quite a lot, 1,800 bounced, which is pretty good. 42,000 credits, didn't fire any premium, it's too quick to fire any premium. Still made a profit, nice healthy profit of 20,400 credits. Would have been only 6,000 in a non-premium count. And 1,422 experience, would have been 948 in a non-premium account. So, yeah, my wrap-up of the Caernarvon, I still don't know whether I like it. I have some good games. As I said, I think I played about 6 or 8 games this morning when these were recorded. I won more than I didn't, and I had some pretty good games, but I couldn't do more than the second-class mastery in it, and maybe that's just my inability to cope with this tank. But I do find I like the British tanks in the fact that they have heavy tanks, in that they have good turrets and good gun depression. That's a definite tick box. But what I don't like is that this game even though it's a you know, a pixel, a load of pixels and coding, people get scared of big ass guns. When you get hit and you lose 350, 400 health off your tank, people get nervous. They get less nervous when it's 200, and that's my biggest problem with a lot of the British tanks, is that yes, they have a very good rate of fire, and yes, they hit well in terms of penetration, but the alpha on them just isn't enough. It's a bit like what's that British TD, the Challenger, isn't it? Not Challenger. I forget the tier 7 one that before you get to the Charioteer. On the face of it, it's an okay TD, but the alpha is just so horrifically low that you rarely get a couple of shots off before you get squashed. Now the Caernarvon's got enough armor and enough mobility that you can, like in that last game, you can see you can take a few hits. The hit points are not too bad on it, and you will bounce shells because the upper plate is quite well angled, the gun mantle's very good, the turret's pretty good, but fundamentally it just, to me, doesn't have enough alpha to make this a fun tank to play, and it has a pretty poor damage per minute ratio given that, even though it has an extremely good rate of fire. That said, it's not an awful tank. It is, however, an awful grind, and I pity people having to do this. My advice is, if you're going to put down the British line, make sure you've got some free XP in the bank, and you can use it to unlock some of the modules, because you need to get that top gun, and you need to get that top turret, and you probably need the engines as well, because you want that speed. Unlocked, this tank is okay. In the grind, it is horrible. Anyway, quick look at the Caernarvon. Let's say I'm still not sure I like it. I think on balance I probably don't. I'm certainly not planning to keep it once I've ground my way through it, but it's not the worst grind in the world, and it's not the worst tank to play, so I don't mind playing it from time to time. But anyway, let me know what you think. Have you worked through the British Heavy line? Do you like the Caernarvon? Are you looking forward to playing it? It is different from the Black Prince. The Black Prince is more of a sledgehammer. This is more of a refined battle tank. So you do have to change your battle styles between the two. But have you had any success with it? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, click like. Really helps and makes me feel good when I see lots of likes. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. It's free and it's easy, and it means that you get notified of when I put videos up, and you can see them. So just click on the big red button that says subscribe. Funny that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Enjoy your games, have fun. Remember, it is just a game, it's not for real, and I'll see you again soon. Gamer Dom.